U-238 Atomic Energy Lab. The Gilbert U-238 Atomic Energy Lab hit the market in 1950 and was marketed as the ultimate science kit for curious kids. It came with a real Geiger counter, a cloud chamber, and 4 actual samples of radioactive uranium. At the time, nuclear power was the exciting future, so parents thought it was educational. The kit sold for $49.50, that's about $650 in today's money, and only around 5,000 units were ever sold. Kids handled real radioactive material with almost no safety warnings. Production stopped because of low sales, not safety concerns. Today, this kit is famous as one of the most controversial toys ever made. What was supposed to spark a love of science ended up exposing children to real radiation risks. Lawn darts, jarts. Lawn darts, also known as jarts, were a backyard favorite in the 1970s. These heavy steel-tipped darts were thrown at plastic rings on the grass, and families loved playing together. The problem was, the darts flew fast and hard. If they missed the target and hit someone, the results were devastating. The CPSC reported about 670 emergency room visits every year, with 75% of the injured kids under age 15. At least 3 children died, ages 4, 7, and 13. One 7-year-old girl was killed while playing with her brother's friends. In 1988, the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission banned them completely. What was meant to be family fun in the backyard turned into a deadly weapon. Clackers. Clackers became a huge craze in the late 1960s. 2 hard acrylic balls connected by a string made a loud clacking sound when you swung them up and down. Kids competed to see who could make them go fastest. The balls were made of glass or acrylic that couldn't handle the constant high-speed impacts. Cracks would form, and eventually the balls would shatter, sending sharp pieces flying. Children suffered cuts, bruises, and serious eye injuries. Many kids also hit themselves in the face or arms. In America, they earned the nickname knuckle-busters. Safety rules were tightened in 1971, and by 1985, the toy was banned in several places. A simple game that taught coordination ended up being far more dangerous than anyone expected. Creepy Crawlers Thingmaker. Mattel's Creepy Crawlers Thingmaker launched in 1964. Kids poured colorful liquid plastic onto a hot metal plate to create rubbery bugs and spiders. The plate heated up to 300 degrees Fahrenheit with no automatic shutoff. It felt like real toy-making magic, and children loved inventing their own creatures. But many kids burned their fingers and hands on the scorching plate. There were no safety gloves included, and plenty of burn and blister complaints. Mattel eventually changed the design, but the early versions left lasting memories. The toy that was supposed to spark creativity became a serious burn hazard in thousands of American kitchens. Easy Bake Oven. The Easy Bake Oven arrived in 1963 and let kids bake real cookies and cakes using just a light bulb for heat. The original side-loading model was a huge hit, over 500,000 units sold in the first year. Little girls especially felt like grown-ups in the kitchen. But that light bulb got extremely hot. Children's hands got stuck inside or touched the hot metal, causing burns. After a 2006 redesign with a larger front opening, injuries increased even more. There were 278 reports of hands or fingers getting trapped and 82 burn cases. One 5-year-old girl suffered such severe burns that doctors had to amputate the tip of her finger. In 2007, Hasbro recalled 1 million ovens. The toy that made kids feel independent turned out to have some serious safety risks. 1950s to 60s chemistry sets. Chemistry sets from the 1950s and 60s were extremely popular Christmas gifts. Brands like Gilbert and Porter Science included real mercury, potassium nitrate, magnesium ribbon, and other powerful chemicals. Kids could mix them to make small explosions or even gunpowder. Parents saw them as educational, and many sets came with burners and test tubes. The problem was, there were almost no safety warnings. Children suffered chemical burns, poisoning, and eye damage when accidents happened. Some mixtures caused small explosions right on the kitchen table. Today, those same chemicals are strictly regulated or banned. The sets that taught us to love science would be completely illegal in today's world. Gilbert Glass Blowing Set. The Gilbert Glass Blowing Set came out in the 1950s and let kids heat glass tubes over a burner to create vases, animals, and other shapes. It was sold as a creative and educational activity. The glass had to reach over 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit, and the kit provided almost no safety equipment. Many children burned their hands or got tiny glass splinters in their fingers. Cuts and serious burns were common. Even though Gilbert called it safe fun, the risks were very real. Production eventually stopped, but baby boomers still remember it as one of the most dangerous toys they ever owned. Austin Magic Pistol. The Austin Magic Pistol and Mattel's belt-buckle Derringer guns were big sellers in the 1950s and 60s. These realistic-looking toys used calcium carbide and water to shoot ping-pong balls with a loud pop. Kids loved pretending to be cowboys or secret agents. The problem was, the chemical reaction was unpredictable and could cause small explosions. Children suffered eye injuries and facial burns when things went wrong. Because the guns looked so real, some people even mistook them for actual firearms. By the late 1960s, most of these models were pulled from shelves. The toy that promised exciting Wild West adventures ended up being far more dangerous than anyone imagined.